Hey, Veronica.
Yes.
Today's show, I'm excited about one because it's something I've always wanted to do, still on my list to do. But I'm wondering why I didn't get a chance to do it like you did when you were young. I followed you in the basketball, in the track, into your profession of PE teacher. How did I miss out on the civil air patrol?
Coaching.
And coaching. How did I miss out on the civil air patrol?
I don't know.
Well, how did you get into it?
Well, because it was one of the stories, but it was a friend of mine at the time. He was involved, so you always want to do what your friends do. So that's how I got into it.
That's how Colonel Richard Cooper got into it. He had a classmate that was involved and got him into it. He later on went into being the commander for the National Capital Wing, and right now he's the Wing External Aerospace promoting STEM kits and aerospace kits in schools and organizations.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, in addition,
Mr. Cooper.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Colonel.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to say?
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Colonel.
I'm sorry, Colonel Cooper. Like I said in the bio, you got involved, with a classmate. Tell us more about Civil Air Patrol, because I didn't get to be into it. I didn't have a chance to get into it like she did. I missed out. Tell me about it.
Okay, basically, I was in high school, and a buddy of mine came up. He said, "How would you like to be able to fly in a small aircraft?" I said, "When, where, and how much?"
Oh, okay.
So that's how I got introduced to Civil Air Patrol. I went home, told my mother. She said the same thing. So my junior and senior year, I was in Civil Air Patrol.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, we also have two other guests here. We have Lieutenant Colonel Paul Cianciolo. He is the Vice Commander and Public Affairs Officer for Civil Air Patrol's National Capital Wing, or NatCat Wing, as we used to say when I was in Civil Air Patrol. He joined Civil Air Patrol in 1996 as a cadet in Wisconsin. Wow, you was all the way out.
Oh, yeah,
Cheesehead.
Yep.
Cheesehead, Green Bay, okay. Or close to Green Bay?
No.
Okay.
Wisconsin, Green Bay,
Uh-huh.
where I was. Waukesha.
Oh, Waukesha, okay.
Wisconsin, not Michigan.
Okay. Our producer, super producer, she's from Michigan.
Ah.
All right.
Well, the thing that really hooked me right when I joined as a cadet, I was a sophomore in high school, and the squadron landed a Black Hawk at their squadron meeting.
Wow.
So all the cadets that were there, were able to go in the Black Hawk and talk to the pilots and stuff. So that's kind of the hook that got me in.
All right, well, that's pretty awesome, because now, in addition to being into the Civil Air Patrol, then you later went into the U.S. Air Force after high school, all right? And then you, while on active duty, you served on the security team that protects Air Force One. How is that what does it mean to protect Air Force One?
It's part of a whole team with security forces in the Air Force. We're on the ground, some are in the aircraft, but it's protecting the whole aircraft and the hangars and the whole package.
Air Force One, without giving away, I guess, whatever confidential things that I'm sure you can't give away, is that really like a fortress, like Air Force One? Like, it's so...
Oh, yeah. My favorite part about the plane is they got all the movies on the plane that are in the theaters.
Nice! That's what I'm talking about. Nice, that's what I'm talking about. So after you left the military, you worked as a defense contractor in management analysis, intelligence, and public affairs, related to the Defense Intelligence Agency and Department of Homeland Security. I just got finished watching Scandal, so all of
Oh, yeah.
bitch, Daddy always talk about. Anyway, so in addition to being working with Civil Air Patrol, you also volunteer with other organizations or something?
Yeah, at the time I was on the board of directors for the local Potomac Area Council of Hostelin International.
Now, what is hosteling now? Because I know of hostel from horror movies and
Oh.
and when I would take different cultural exchange programs overseas. Every once in a while, we stayed in a hostel. So what is?
Yeah, Hostelin International is actually a nonprofit, and they have hostels all over the United States here. Well, this one does, but it's all over the world. So it's more for getting the youth in there, and they have a cultural program, and that's part of their educational program is the cultural outreach.
Okay, and so right now. And you're a federal employee. You work with the FAA Safety's Promotion Program?
Yes, I work for the FAA and the General Aviation Safety. So we put out a public magazine, we do outreach to pilots, and I run part of the social media to try to reach pilots, and our goal is to reduce the fatal accident rate in general aviation.
Yeah, because whenever a plane goes down, they always talk about it's always the investigation. Where's the black box? and all that sort of thing. All right, well, awesome. So you have done a lot. And then we have, last but not least, First Lieutenant Chris Friedlander, and you are commander of Civil Air Patrol's Fairfax Composite Squadron, located in Fairfax. And you joined Civil Air Patrol in 1985. So you're more like me in my era.
Yeah. We won't say how old I was when I joined.
Okay.
Then you can like back into it and everything.
So outside of your current volunteer duties, you also have worked the past 15 years as a U.S. government contractor supporting information and technology projects. And your other full-time job is being a father of 3.
Yes, and my daughter's in the program as well, so she has a great time as a cadet.
Well, that's interesting because I kind of dragged my mom into she always had to take me to the meetings. So
It's
then that's
a
what she
family affair. It really
yeah, it
is.
really is. It really is. So welcome all of you here, and we're very happy to see you, happy to have you here. And like I said, I did Civil Air Patrol too, and it was interesting. I enjoyed it. I think I learned a lot in terms of leadership and just trying to be more adventurous as a person, which led me on to other things that I did in my life. So I really think it's a very good program.
Hey,
But
why you ain't stay with it?
I kind of aged out of it. Well, track.
You got involved.
Yeah,
with
track was more. I was always involved, but it kind of got more heavier. But anyway, Civil Air Patrol has a long history. Yes.
Very long history. We just celebrated our 75th anniversary last year. So Civil Air Patrol was formed in 1941.
1941. And actually, we have these nice little wings here. They remind me of the pilot wings that you get. Well, I don't know if you can get them now, but back when you could go into the pilot's cockpit and get a pair of wings. But these wings are kind of special. What are so special about these particular wings?
Well, those are actually from World War II. So Civil Air Patrol had an active mission during World War II as coastal spotters. And at one point, the Civil Air Patrol aircraft actually flew with bombs to defend the
Young
United States
people?
coast.
Wait.
No,
Not
this
young
was
people.
not young
Okay.
people. No,
This was the original mission of Civil Air Patrol in 1941, was to mobilize the entire nation's civilian aviation resources to defend the nation.
Okay, so that would mean people would be out on the coast, like looking to spot.
Yeah, so
enemy.
a lot of the oil barges and the ships that were going out there were Nazi U-boats even up in the New York Harbor.
Wow.
I mean, they got that far in, and they were sinking civilian ships.
Oh, okay.
And Civil Air Patrol was put out there with the aircraft to try to spot these civilian ships because the Navy didn't have the resources at the time because of what happened in Pearl Harbor and everything else going on. So we used civilian airplanes to patrol the coast.
Wow.
And they spotted all of these, U-boats all over, and that was the reason why the Nazis pulled back the U-boats.
Wow, that's kind of like an unsung. They were like the unsung heroes of World War II. And they don't give you that in the history class. I don't think I learned that in my U.S. history. Did you?
No, I didn't. Now I'm starting to understand it more. So the Civil
Well,
Air.
hold on. Before you talk about that, because we talk about the history, they have this nice little shirt. This is like a historical piece. Slip this on.
So
slip it on.
all right. Let me
Just
see.
show them.
Yeah, the back is our historical logo. It was actually designed by we were under the Office of Civilian Defense, and the blue circle was the Civil Defense logo, and they put the red propeller in there. But when we flew U-boat patrols, they took the propeller out. It
Okay.
was just a white triangle.
And then on the front of this lovely shirt, this is what?
Well, that's actually the emblem of one of our local squadrons here in the DC metro area, and I'll let.
That's no bias here. That's my squadron. So Fairfax Composite Squadron is actually one of 6 squadrons in the National Capital Wing, and we're very fortunate, even though we are a small wing, only having 6 squadrons. We're fortunate because we're so geographically co-located. We work together very well, and that's kind of a key thing in Civil Air Patrol is we are community servants, if you will, and we work together to provide those services to the community and the nation.
Nice. Now, we talk about, you were the former commander of National Capital Wing.
Yes, I was.
Or NatCat Wing. And I was on the Bowling Squadron. That's where I was. That's
Yes,
where I was.
and
And so tell me a little bit, just really briefly, about your experiences as being former commander, National Capital Wing.
I had the pleasure to serve for National Capital Wing as a commander, and I thoroughly enjoyed it because one of the things I wanted to do was to make the area aware of Civil Air Patrol. Also wanted to increase our O flights, our orientation rides for the cadets. And I had the opportunity to work with our neighboring wings. So it was a very rewarding experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break right now, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about something that you're very interested in. It's the STEM Kit program. Touch a little bit more about the history, because there's so much like unsung heroes, like, you know, the U-boats. Heard about the U-boats, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to take a break, and we will be right back.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, you know, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Now, you've heard of the Civil Air Patrol, of course. The Civil Air Patrol, the CAP, Vigilant Civilian Volunteers.
With the largest fleet of single-engine planes at their disposal, these patriotic patrols are now playing a key role in protecting the homeland.
The point is, World War II could have turned out a lot differently if not for the men and women of the Civil Air Patrol.
60,000 volunteers across the country who man the Civil Air Patrol's missions, and performing 85% of all inland search and rescue operations.
We save lives and we save resources. We are the experienced and we are the future. For 75 years, we have volunteered to serve our communities, our states, and our nation as the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We will continue to do so with honor. We are the Civil Air Patrol.
So, like, did you know all this stuff about World War II? Because I like documentaries, so I'm always watching about what happened in World War II, the Nazis, and.
I didn't know there were civilian pilots patrolling the coast. No, I didn't. But it looks like they're military. Y'all look like a military organization. I always thought it was a military thing.
Well, the Civil Air Patrol, they do have missions, okay? And actually, there is a charter outlined by Congress in 1946 that describes the 5 purposes of the organizations. And is actually codified in Title 36, USC Section 40302. Want to make it all, professional. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, so the 5 missions are this. Okay, to encourage citizens to support aviation and be an example through volunteerism, to provide aviation training to its members, to promote the development of civil aviation in local communities, to rally its volunteers to respond to local and national emergencies, and to assist the Air Force with its non-combat programs and missions.
And on that last one, we're actually the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary.
That's right, because they told us that when I was coming up. They said we're the auxiliary to the United States Air Force. So that talks a little bit more about their history, but we want to get back into what they're doing now. And Colonel, we want to talk about these STEM kit programs that you are responsible for, or you help promote.
Okay, yes. Civil Air Patrol has external and internal aerospace programs. The external program covers K through high school, and it's for educators, school educators. And with this program, we have 15 external STEM kits. With these STEM kits, the teachers can join as aerospace members, which is called AEMs. They can request one of these STEM kits, do 6 projects associated with the STEM kit, fill out a form, send it back to Civil Air Patrol headquarters, and what they will receive is a really nice certificate for each of the participants. The only thing that the teacher has to do is put the name of the participants on it.
Well, I think this is very important because STEM, and for people that don't know what STEM means, is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
Those subjects. It's very important because it seems like everything is falling into STEM, falling under STEM. And I see here you brought one of these, I guess these rocketry things. Is this something that a cadet made in one of your programs?
Yes, they did. No, yes, they did. This is for basic rocketry.
Okay.
We have a more advanced rocketry program where we can launch 1-stage rockets, and we can also launch 2-stage rockets.
Now, I also saw in your list of kits here the rocketry one, and these reminds me of because we have a STEM program at the school where I teach at, and they launch them outside, and they always do it while the PE classes are outside, and we're constantly dodging. We're like, heads! It'll come down. So, but this is really interesting as far as, what a student or a cadet can learn, and the fact that teachers can get involved for free, right?
It will cost a one-time fee of.
Well, that's nothing.
It's tax deductible, and all they have to do each year, the aerospace department will send you a notice and ask you, do you want to extend? All you have to do is check yes, and you can continue to receive these kits. And the beauty of it is that there's a teacher's guide that comes along. And if you know nothing about rockets or you know nothing about Raspberry Pi, there is
I like to eat that.
There is no, you can't eat this one. This one will hurt your teeth.
But it's funny, when I talk to cadets, the Raspberry Pi is their favorite STEM kit.
Yes.
Out of all of them, and it's a computer board. And you can actually use it to do all kinds of different things and create things.
Well, now let me ask you another question. So you guys are basically National Capital Wing. Now, are a lot of DC schools or Maryland schools or Virginia schools, are a lot of them know about this?
No, they do not. We try to get the word out, and sometimes, when we talk to teachers, they will say, well, I don't have room in my curriculum to do that. But my attitude is, if you can have chess, dance, music, all of that after school, there's
But but there are some specific schools like public charter schools that specialize in STEM. So I would think this would be a natural thing.
And there are some schools that do have Civil Air Patrol squadrons. They do actually have the squadron as part of the school. And I don't know if there aren't any in this area.
We used to have a couple in PG County.
Yes.
That was a few years ago, but they cut the budget for that.
Yeah, years ago we had at Goddard Middle School, which is up by the Space Agency. And we also Kettering Middle School, and also I can't think of the other one. Was on Landover Road.
But the thing about it is, even if you're not a school like a STEM school,
any teacher can join.
Any teacher, but if you are a math teacher, okay, if you are a science teacher,
or
if
PE.
you are a PE teacher or a tech teacher, because I mean, you can definitely incorporate this into your program,
yes,
including the librarian.
Yes.
Our teacher of the year, that was awarded last year, was the librarian.
Right, and then I just see so many applications. Like, you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, a STEM school that's specialized.
No, you do not.
Even if you just teach one of these subjects and things of that nature. Rocketry, I can see in PE, we talk about force, speed, acceleration, things of that nature. We say, hey, well, this is how it looks like outside of sports, acceleration and speed. Because, we always use euphemisms like, oh, you need to explode out like a rocket. Or, when we talk about the jumps, we say, okay, imagine an airplane taking off. Right. So, you need that thrust. You need, all of that stuff that you guys talk about is something that can be used.
Like the weather station would be great for a school to know if you want to go play outside or you're going to play inside.
Yeah, the weather station. Because first question, we going outside today?
Let's consult the weather station.
Let's consult. You know what? I think I want to get this conversation. Let's consult the weather station.
Yes,
I like that.
Because this would be beneficial to the whole school.
Exactly.
So you can get one kit and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this as our weather station. This other one, astronomy, it's harder because the school program doesn't last until dark in the winter, but you can still hold it, special activities.
Yes, because we had a program where they said, "Oh, come see the stars," and I guess they did something. We don't have an astronomy program, but they did something where you could come out, bring your blanket, and you could look at the stars and study something. So this would be good. So I like this. I like all of this. Now, what else do we have over here?
Well, so Civil Air Patrol is made up of three programs: aerospace education, which we just talked about, cadet programs, which you'll hear about shortly, and then emergency services. So one of the core things, kind of going back to our World War II days, is providing assistance to the community and the nation in natural disasters. If there's a missing person, aircraft goes down, we are called out. We're actually a very inexpensive way to extend into the community and extend the Air Force's mission into the community during natural disasters. So we do a number of things. We do ground and we do air work. So on the ground, we use basic things like maps and compasses and signal mirrors and things that we train the cadets to use and the senior members to use. So we go out, search for persons, search for downed aircraft. The Air Force Rescue Coordination Center, the FRCC, actually dispatches Civil Air Patrol regularly. We've already have 133 saves, 133 saves this fiscal year already.
Wow.
1 year.
Yeah, about half of those are our cell phone forensics team down at National, and when there's a missing person, they actually can triangulate with people's cell phones and try to find them and help the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center, because they're in charge of inland search and rescue in the U.S. Right. Okay. It's the Air Force, and we're the Air Force Auxiliary.
Yes, of course.
And we have radar tracking, and that was actually all these programs were developed by Civil Air Patrol members, and they're used by the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center. So these are volunteers doing amazing work on a national level.
Yeah, just as an example, down here, last year we flew 926 hours. Just in the DC area here. And our volunteer members, putting a value to it, was $2.3 million worth of volunteer man hours.
That's a lot.
Just here in 1 year.
That is good. What is that?
This is just an example. I don't know if you want to put this on the camera there, but this is just an example of some of the electronics, the equipment that we use in the aircraft and also on the ground. This is what we call an approach plate. It's basically something that you would use to get into an airport, but we also use it to navigate around our very complicated airspace.
Yes.
And
DC is because there's so many monuments and protected areas where you can't fly and stuff like that. You just can't go flying all willy nilly.
Yeah, and speaking of that, what we can talk a little bit about is our biggest mission here in the DC area is helping the military protect the DC airspace.
Wow.
So as Civil Air Patrol volunteers, we fly every single month as target aircraft. So the Coast Guard and
Wait, you're the target?
We're the target.
Oh!
To practice, so we fly into DC, and they practice with the fighters and the helicopters and other mechanisms around to be able to.
You the bogies. You the bogies.
So we have predetermined routes. We fly in. They practice, and they also practice intercepting us. So the Coast Guard, they have a blue light in the front of their aircraft, and they have a big marquee sign on the side of the aircraft, and it says, tune to 121.5, which is the emergency frequency. You've been intercepted. So that we help them determine where to put the Coast Guard helicopter next to where our little airplane is, to make sure it's safe. So when they're intercepting other,
it's really hard to see them going, pull over.
Wow. Well, that was very interesting as far as we learned about the mission.
133 saves.
Yes. And like the STEM stuff, and teachers, definitely this needs to be put out more as far as the STEM programs, because this is so important to our youth. And if it's free or if it's at a very low cost, then they definitely need to know about this. So we need to definitely, at the end of the show, you will see information on where to get this type of information from the Civil Air Patrol, but also the different things that they do. But right now, we're going to take another break because we're going to have a cadet come up here, and then we're going to talk to her, and then we're going to learn how to become part of the Civil Air Patrol, what they're looking for, and then, that'll be good. What do you think about that, Gregory?
We're going to do what's Veronica thinking today?
Veronica is thinking we're going to do that.
Okay.
And we'll be right back.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And we are back. We have Cadet Liliana Glancy with us today. Are you excited to meet her?
Yeah, we was having a good time. She was laughing a lot off camera. We got her on camera now. You excited?
Yes, very much. Well, let me tell you more about Cadet Glancy. She is Cadet Staff Sergeant in the Civil Air Patrol's Fairfax Composite Squadron, which is located in Fairfax, Virginia. She attends Trinity Christian School, and she's a member of the National Honor Society, so she is smart. Yeah. All right. She plays varsity tennis and is also a part of the school's junior ROTC program. She also works at Kids First Swim School in Chantilly, Virginia, where she is a certificated as a year-round USA swimming instructor and Red Cross lifeguard. Didn't you want to be a lifeguard?
A little bit. Good. She's keeping really busy, it sounds like.
And she's also trained in special needs instruction. And after high school, her goals are to major in aeronautical engineering and minor in foreign area studies at either the Air Force or Naval Academy. Wow. So you are smart, because I remember when it was time for me to go to college, I thought about going to the Air Force Academy or Naval Academy. And it's not easy to get in. It is not, and it's a lot of work you have to get in. And once you're in there, there's a lot that you have to do to, maintain and be in it. But you are super busy.
I am busy 7 days a week, 24/7. Definitely.
Wow. And you're smiling and you have all this energy. How do you keep all this energy?
I definitely want to give credit to my family. Mm-hmm. They're amazing. My boyfriend complains about it. He has a very large family, but they are not as loud as us at all. Mm-hmm. Loud household, lots of food, lots of everything, and we're just always alive.
Sound like lots of fun.
Now, how long have you been in the Civil Air Patrol?
Since this past September,
so
2017.
So you haven't been in very long.
No.
And you're moving up the ranks pretty quickly.
Yes.
Wow, ambition. Ambition. Okay. So, and I understand you want to be study aeronautical engineering.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do with that?
Well, so I'm trying to go to be a pilot in the Air Force Academy
Mm-hmm.
or the Naval Academy. Mm-hmm. I'm very interested. It's my dream to fly. Mm-hmm. And I've heard, and I'm very interested in aeronautical engineering because it goes very well as a side project with piloting. If you have both of them, they look better upon you, and it also helps you out further later on your career. I do.
Did you ever see that movie?
I haven't. I've heard about it.
Now, did you have those military aspirations and use Civil Air Patrol as an avenue to get there, or did you get into Civil Air Patrol and then develop those dreams of doing those other things in the military?
I've had quite a few plans, and Civil Air Patrol has definitely been one of the later plans as a step up into getting to the academies, because it's a very competitive process and you have to have everything that you can possibly get into being the best candidate.
So you always wanted to go into one of the service academies?
Since 4 years ago.
Since 4 years
ago. She said she had many plans.
I had many plans.
Many plans. So one of the many things that you guys learned is how to look at navigational maps, charts.
And you said you failed that, right? Ain't that what you said? It's pretty tough. It looks tough.
Why you gotta go there?
No.
No. Gosh. We're not. Yeah, I did. Okay, fine.
Come clean.
It's hard.
I did not pass
it's
that
very
module
hard.
at OCS, okay? But I do know what a finger in it.
Okay.
I did more ground school. Why?
Ground school's important.
So what's one of the toughest things in being Civil Air Patrol?
For me, as an older cadet and joining the program recently, it has been learning to work with kids who are less experienced than you as well as younger than you.
Go ahead, admit it. They just not into it. They just not into it.
No, I mean, you can start in the program at age 12. So that's 7th grade for some people. Mm-hmm. And some people, you can go up till you're 21 as a cadet. Mm-hmm. So being able to work with everyone and trying to figure out different aspects of yourself as well as teamwork and leadership and growing with them is really hard.
Which are all the things that are necessary in order to be successful, not only in life, but in sports. Because we talk about teamwork, working with others, you know, communication, all of that sort of thing. You know, and as a staff sergeant, cadet staff sergeant, What are your duties?
So because I was recently promoted, because I've been promoting so quickly, I haven't been able to acquire too many leadership responsibilities with those promotions. It's not like I'm promoting every 5 or so months. When you get to those larger staff positions, you can start getting things like flight sergeant, flight commander, and then eventually you get to cadet commander, and that's like the person in charge of the entire squadron. I haven't been able to get that yet, but that's only because I've only been a part of Civil Air Patrol for 10 or so months.
But what do you have to be in charge of? What do you do?
Within my flight, I am Alpha Flight, so we are the best flight. Okay. But I have become element leader, second element leader, so that's a pretty big responsibility. Being an element leader, you're a role model to every cadet. It's not just, it's mostly cadets within your flight, but you're also seen by everyone else.
I was an element leader. Just to let you know. So, but anyway, so an element leader, we can just take it, because we always talk about sports, much like the coach, and so you are in charge. You're there to help mold and guide and get them to do whatever the mission or whatever it is, the responsibility for your particular element at that time. Yes?
So in any military command, you have different stages of leadership, and as an element leader, you're kind of in charge of just 2 or 3 people. And your responsibility is to take care of those 2 or 3 people for the sake of the flight's mission, and the flight has a commander who is serving the squadron goals. So it's in a chain of command.
Of course.
Everyone is responsible of a little thing, and as you get further up the chain, you're responsible of more, so you get less personal contact and stuff. As a element leader, though, I'm with the cadets all the time, and we're always having fun together, kind of thing.
So, like I said, you gotta take care of your troops. That's the one thing I learned when I was in the. You gotta take care of your troops, because if you do not take care of your troops.
And every coach has to have a philosophy.
Right, and every coach has to take care of their troops, their players. Like, you have to take care of your troops, your players.
What's your philosophy, Lillian?
My philosophy, never quit. Civil Air Patrol has a motto, Semper Vigilans. It's Latin for always vigilant. On a business card that I made recently for personal connections, because that's a great part of Civil Air Patrol, you always have those opportunities to make connections. My business card says Semper Fulgens, which is always shiny, so always bright, always shiny.
That's Latin too, Semper?
Yes, Semper Fulgens.
You didn't say that.
No, I didn't do that.
You didn't do that, huh?
Did Spanish. Didn't like foreign language at all anyway.
And you lived in foreign countries.
Yeah. What's wrong with English?
You can do it.
But anyway, so there must be some fun things. So really quickly, you just came back from what?
Encampment, tri-wing encampment. It was probably one of the most amazing experiences of my life.
And what was so amazing about it?
The opportunities that they give you there, it's a hard week. It's a very hard week.
I did that too.
Is it something like Hell Week?
It's a little bit like Hell Week, at least for the first 5 of 7 days. Yeah. Last 2 days are more celebratory that you're finishing up the program, but for the first 5 days, it's go, go, go. You're out in the hot sun. They're shouting at you pretty much the entire time. We have these things called OIs, which are operating instructions, and you have to hold them at 90 degrees. Like, this is your trained position for like a whole week. And the opportunities that they give you while at Tri-Wing encampment, we got to do 4 amazing things. 4 amazing things.
Give us one.
Give us one. Okay. I had my first orientation flight.
Nice.
That was probably the bestest part of that week.
The flying, of course.
The flying, obviously. It's what I want to do. It's my dream. It's the best thing about Civil Air Patrol that I have open to me. The other 2 amazing things that we had was Chinook rides, which are the huge like cargo helicopters that the Army uses. We got to fly in one of those for like 15 minutes, and that was completely surrounding. We do this thing called the obstacle course, which is it's a huge obstacle course, and you get to do team building. I was an element leader back there as well, and my elements were one of the fastest to go through the O course, which was really fun.
Congratulations.
We also got a picture on the Tri-Wing encampment website of us on one of the obstacles, which was really cool. And The most terrifying experience of all of it was when we did this 100-foot rappel.
Oh, that was easy. That's easy.
Easy for you?
When we had the Tarzan, well, we ain't got a lot of time. We can talk about the Tarzan course. I mean, that stuff is, I love that. I was like, catch me if you can. But anyway, thank you. Actually, Staff Sergeant Glancy, you are definitely one of the best things in the Civil Air Patrol. Very shiny, very bright. And we have enjoyed having you here and telling us about that. So hopefully you're, being on the show and people will see it, get more people to come too, because it is a great opportunity.
Such a great opportunity.
And you are definitely,
taking full advantage of it.
Full advantage.
That's what we have to do.
And that's what we all about here. Taking full advantage. But we're going to take full advantage of this break, because when we come back, we will tell you how you can become a part of the Civil Air Patrol, whether you are a young person or an old head, as they like to say, and, just how you can be involved.
Well, you look at me when you said old head.
You old.
Not old.
And we'll be right back.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Yeah, so now we want to talk about, first of all, Civil Air Patrol. Why is it's like a best kept secret? Like, not too many people really know about it. It's really right underneath our noses. And if it's a snake, it would have bit us, type of thing.
Probably because people here volunteer and maybe want compensation, maybe, I don't know.
It's always about the money for you, isn't it?
But I tell you what, compensation honestly comes in the giving back. It comes in that, and we all are here as volunteers, and we work hard. You would not believe the work that we have to do because we are an auxiliary of the Air Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is that we love it. We love doing it for the cadets, and we love doing it for our communities, and that's why we're here.
Well, first of all, how does one join the Civil Air Patrol? Like, say if I'm a cadet, or not cadet, if I'm a young person, I want to be a part of it, what do I do?
Should I talk to that? Okay.
Yeah, you can talk about joining as a cadet.
So right, so I was a cadet, and basically, if you want to join as a cadet, you would go to the national website, or
GoCivilAirPatrol.com.
GoCivilAirPatrol.com, and you would type in your zip code, and it would give you local units.
Okay.
And we actually encourage you to reach out. Anyone who wants to join, they can reach out to multiple units and check them out, because we're volunteers, and one unit may do things differently than another unit. So we encourage them to check out different options. But you come to a squadron, we welcome you anytime. We meet on different nights, so you'll see all that on the website. And we say, come out, check us out 3 times in a row. On that 3rd time, if you still want to do it, we'll send you an application.
Yeah, if you're in the DC area, our website here is natcapwing.org, which is on your pen there. But it's natcapwing.org is the easiest way, and there's a link, or one of the menu items says local squadrons, and it has a Google map of where all the different squadrons physically meet. And you can click on that, so sometimes visually it's easy to see.
Okay, I know we met, well, obviously I was at Bowling Squadron. We met out there every Wednesday night. That was our thing.
Yeah, and we have a squadron on bowling, as well as the wing headquarters.
There were refreshments at the meeting?
There are refreshments?
They actually had quite the smorgasbord of food out at their last open house.
Oh, okay, well, shoot.
I thought I heard your stomach grumble.
We didn't have breakfast. So anyway, so that's if a young person wants to be a part of it. What if, can adults be a part of it?
As long as you have a pulse.
Yeah. Well,
but what are you looking for in terms of what type of adult are you looking for?
We are looking for people who are committed to giving back. You often hear this: you get out of it what you put into it.
Of course.
Civil Air Patrol is no different. You have to put effort in to get the benefits out of it, but the benefits are diverse for senior members. There's professional development opportunities. There's obviously opportunities to work with the cadet program. There's plenty of opportunities to fly with Civil Air Patrol and fly our missions and fly our cadets. Today, in fact, we have senior members who are flying about 8 cadets, I believe, on orientation flights. So they're out right now flying around us.
And another squadron, some of the senior members and cadets were out running on the Mount Vernon Trail because they're training for the Army 10 miler for our CAP team.
Ooh, that is nice. Well, it's hot out there, so gotta be careful, stay hydrated. So I see all of you look very nice, resplendent in your uniforms, military-style military uniforms. But I see right here, this is a shirt. Is this one of the shirts that members do wear? Or are members always wearing the various uniforms? Because I remember, the ribbons. Just putting on the ribbons is like, I had to get the ruler. I had to, all right, let me get it straight. And some people might like, they don't might not see that for themselves. So
right,
it's more part of the cadet program to be in that military style uniform. But as senior members or adults that want to join, wearing the polo shirt, is fine and acceptable. So there's a certain requirements. You have to wear the uniform when you're flying in an aircraft. When you're working with cadets, and when you're on an Air Force assigned mission, are the 3 times when you have to wear a uniform.
Okay, I used to wear mine on dress down day because I went, had uniforms at Lorraine, so I would wear mine. I love you.
Now you mentioned training for the 10 miler. Are there fitness standards like in the military that you have to?
The cadets have the fitness standard, and as part of their whole promotion program is they have certain physical fitness tests they have to do in order to earn a certain grade. As senior members, it's more just about staying fit, but there's no standard as an adult that you have to maintain.
Okay.
But we'd like you to be healthy if you can.
Right.
So a lot of our members will go out and run with the cadets.
So the one caveat being that if we have, as you notice, we have these military-style uniforms, and Colonel Cooper is wearing the Air Force-style uniform, and to wear this uniform, you do have to meet a certain grooming
Air Force
standard,
standards.
an Air Force standard to wear that uniform. These are what are called corporate uniforms that we wear, Civil Air Patrol, and we have a different standard. Colonel Cianciolo and myself, we wear beards. It's perfectly allowed as long as we choose to wear this uniform or this uniform. Okay. But we cannot wear that uniform.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you have to meet the same kind of standards that you have in the military.
Right.
Nice. Now, there's the Civil Air Patrol, the civilian organization. Well, civilians are into it, but it's an auxiliary of the Air Force. and there's also, you know, various ROTC programs. Okay, and there's, you know, the other service programs like the Boy Scouts or something like that. What's different about yours as opposed to like the other?
They fly.
Well, the Boy Scouts do have a flight program, but there is a difference, and that's kind of what the Colonel was saying earlier, is that our cadets actually participate in real life missions. They actually go out, you know, and they do search and rescue. They learn first aid. They actually have what's called a ranger course, you know, which is really cool. And they actually participate in these missions. But we do at the same time, we pair up with the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts.
We actually teach their aviation badge,
right?
Quite a bit, like at their Boy Scout jamborees and things like that.
Nice.
Been on some search and rescue missions looking for a Boy Scout. So.
But y'all don't sell cookies.
No, we don't. We don't sell cookies. We will eat them, however.
Yes.
Fundraisers, though, locally, we're always looking for help financially at the local level. So we get appropriated funds at the national level to do these operational missions for the Air Force, and they purchase the aircraft and that. But locally here, if we want to be able to help a cadet out that can't afford to get their flight scholar, you know, go get their pilot certificate, we have the Butler Flight Scholarship, which we set aside here, and that will help pay for part of them to get to their solo and go to the flight academy.
Yes.
And if anyone's interested in actually donating to that, on our Facebook page right now, we have a fundraiser up for our Butler Flight Scholarship.
Okay, awesome. And just for anybody know, the Civil Air Patrol is a nonprofit organization, things of that nature. But also want to talk to you about, you know, volunteering. Like, you get in what you put in, you get out what you put in. So for a cadet, what do you get out? Like, is there like scholarship opportunities? You know, does this make me look, because nowadays kids are all about, okay, how am I going to get into college? How does this help me get into a college? Like, does it help the resume in terms of getting into college? Like, what is...
Well, as an example, I enlisted in the Air Force. I was a cadet in Wisconsin, earned my Mitchell Award, which is becoming a cadet officer. And I went in the Air Force immediately as an E3.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of the benefits of enlisting.
So did I.
Okay, all right. So you didn't have to start at the bottom. You were kind of already up there.
I did not.
Okay. And what other, are there scholarships available, or what, you know, what are some of the things that kids can, you know, look forward to earning?
I think the biggest thing to look forward to are our national cadet activities, which go on mostly in the summer. We've got a civil engineering academy. I mean, it's all around the country, and you apply for it, and you have to compete. We have an international cadet exchange, and I was fortunate to go as a senior member escort, and I took 2 cadets to Belgium. We spent 2 weeks in Belgium with the Belgian Air Cadets, and we had air cadets from all these different countries working with us, and we got to fly in their gliders.
Really?
So it was actually the first time I got to fly in a glider. Was in Belgium.
But see, that's where I missed out at, because I did all my international traveling outside of Civil Air Patrol. I didn't even know that existed. I'm talking about best kept secret, right? And then as a teacher, I did a lot of cultural exchanges, but to know that there's other activities, I mean, that would have been like right up my alley or something like that. And you lived in Belgium because you played basketball there.
Yeah, you got to fly a glider?
Yeah, we flew gliders there.
Oh, man.
So the Belgian cadet program just focuses on gliders, and that's all they fly.
Why?
You know,
that's just part of their program.
You know, gliders have engines, or
we also have gliders in Civil Air Patrol.
No engines.
They're like the big kites.
No engines.
We just let them go and say good luck.
They're a lot more fun. I actually prefer flying a glider.
The gliders they look like a big kite, right? Those.
No,
they've got really long wings, really long and skinny.
The long
soaring
wings. Oh yeah.
Okay.
They look skinny planes, long wings. Like you get the wingspan like.
Like a gull, like a seagull.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and the altitude record for gliders is 44,000 plus feet. And the distance on a horseshoe type track is about between 1,400. It's greater than 1,400 miles.
No engine.
In a glider, no engine.
Man.
But I think once a year
Talk about
here,
energy efficient.
we've got a glider. Civil Air Patrol has a glider program right in West Virginia, and a couple times a year we'll take our cadets out and go out there, and they can go through the whole glider program and get their orientation.
Right?
Is it next week?
Next weekend, yeah.
Okay.
I missed gliders.
But every cadet gets free orientation flights in gliders and in powered aircraft. So they're all authorized to get a certain number.
So really with the Civil Air Patrol, it can be almost like a family affair because I know Mommy was in it with me. You know, she took leadership and she was leader of bowling squadron.
She was a leader?
Yeah, they won squadron of the year twice. So, but you can do both. So you can have the parents there and the adults and things of that nature. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, parents can also join if they have a cadet. Now we have a cadet sponsor member category. So you don't participate in any of the programs, but you're just there kind of as a chaperone when needed.
Okay. So this is really something that, I mean, it seems like this program really offers a lot of avenues for the civilians to get involved. I mean, because it is a civilian, you know, air patrol. So that's pretty awesome.
Yes, it is. And one of the things that we are trying to do outside of building strong leaders is to get people to look at the jobs that come under aerospace. Because most people will look at aerospace, they look at pilot, mechanic, stewardess, but there are hundreds of different jobs that fall under because and plus there's tremendous networking because I have cadets who met other cadets in the 90s and they're still friends. And so if I need a teacher's job and we were cadets, okay, I would ask you and you might be able to get me a teacher's job.
Yeah. I think the most important thing as an adult that we get out of it is the networking and meeting new people. I went to our National Staff College, and which was down at Maxwell at the Squadron Officers School for the Air Force, but it's a week-long profession development leadership program for adults, which is kind of down the road, but like one of the other members that was there was the mayor of our town. You know, and we just have all these different members that come from all these different walks of life.
Well, I would say this has been tremendous. I think I've learned a lot. I learned more about an organization that I used to be a part of, and I was like, hey, so many opportunities are still there, and especially from the educational standpoint. Fitness, there's a lot of things to be done. I mean, because search and rescue, you got to be pretty fit to go walking in and searching and rescuing for people.
Yes, you do.
Especially over rough terrain, got to have coordination, agility, balance, all that sort of thing. You don't want to fall and break an ankle. So there's just so much to the Civil Air Patrol, and I thank you all for coming here to tell us about it. And we will have information posted at the end of the show so people can find out where to go, how to get more information.
GoCivilAir.com.
GoCivilAirPatrol.com is our national website.
Almost got it.
Then natcapwing.org is kind of the DC metro area.
Okay.
You going to put Vanessa in it?
That wing, yes.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you all for watching and learning about the Civil Air Patrol. I know I learned something. Gregory, we hope you did too.
Yeah, you dropped the ball, Veronica. You was in it, and you could have been a commander by now.
All right, that's it. Time over. Well, thank you for watching the Veronica Harris Show, and we will see you next time.